But my grandma used to wear an I Hate the Dodgers visor all the time.
Boo, bitch. Welcome to the industry special.
Fuck yeah, that was good. You got any burps in you? Welcome to Industry Special episode 42. Like, subscribe on YouTube, also Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud for all the Android users. Not quite Spotify yet, but it's coming. Patreon.com/industry special if you want to, support what I do and what I'm going to be doing. The guest today is a Patreon subscriber, so you should do like my man's right here. Introduce yourself, Mr. Nick Engvall.
Hey, what's up, Dex? My name's Nick Engvall. Been working in the sneaker business for, I don't even know how long, 15 years or something now. And just host a sneaker history podcast. Just try to make the sneaker experience a better place for all the people that get sick and tired of taking L's on the sneakers app, basically.
Man, took an L this morning.
Yep.
It'd be like that. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
So yeah, this is my guy Nick right here. Like as he said, he's the host of the Sneaker History Podcast. I've been following you on Twitter, for hella long. I have no idea how long.
Yeah, man.
And
I was trying to think about that too.
I don't know.
It's been like a solid.
I've been on Twitter
5,
for like 11 years, so it's probably like 7 or 8, if anything.
Yeah.
But we've been interacting for at least 5 or 6 years here and there, talking about whatever shoe or whatever sport going on. As you see, my man's a Giants fan. I don't got my hat on, but whatever. Everybody knows I'm a Giants fan too. So also Kings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's probably how it started, right? It's like, I think I remember seeing, you probably had either a Giants or an A's hat on or something. I was like, oh, he's probably somewhere nearby. Probably got some similarities going on. And next thing you know, we're talking about sneakers. We're on each other's podcasts. We're on each other's Patreons. Like, I mean, that's how it is. That's how the way the world should work, right?
Seriously. I mean, Twitter's a pretty fucked up place sometimes, but it has a little bit of, it brings people together too,
Yeah, definitely.
There we go.
Definitely.
Also, we got your the Sneaker History Discord server. People need to check that shit out because we I was talking to we had Clint and Varian on the podcast couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
It's like like the one little pocket of the internet where it's just all positive, and we get to geek out about shoes and movies and shows and food.
Yeah, next thing you know, you're learning all about jazz music and
exactly, man. That dude
was so dope.
Seriously, man, and that playlist sent me was fire. I sent it to everybody. I was like, oh man, this is the shit.
Yeah, man, I've been listening to it too. I told them, I was like, yeah, you need to put more of these out because people need to know this kind of stuff.
Hell yeah, I'll probably have them back on, and I think he said because Clint's so damn busy. I think he said next year, early next year. So coming up soon. All right. So speaking of sneakers and the L's, did you attempt this morning for the patent leather bred ones?
Yeah, I did, but I was trying for, I forget even who I was trying for in the Discord. Somebody said last minute that they needed some help, and I just put it in there for, I think it was size 12 or something. But yeah, no luck. I haven't had much luck on the sneakers app at all, so I don't give my hopes up at all. But
I quit trying.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I haven't even really been like buying as many sneakers as I used to. Unfortunately, like thanks to you or because of you and because of Joe and Keith, I've been buying more fitteds this year than I have anything else. So,
there we go. Yeah, I've definitely bought more hats and shoes this year for sure.
Yeah, and that whole experience is getting more and more frustrating too because more and more people are going in. I mean, it's kind of the same though for me because with sneakers I wear a 13, so like there's not as many people wearing a size 13, so sort of there's a good thing. But then also like they don't make 13s as as
Yeah.
many 13s. And then with fitteds, I wear a size 8, so almost nobody except for Boach wears
Yeah.
a size 8. So like I think he wears an 8 and an eighth. But
Hold on. Shout out to my man right here, Boach.
yeah,
For the
exactly.
people who don't know, he's talking about Bruce Bochy. He was the manager of the Giants.
Yeah, definitely for a long time. He was definitely somebody I looked up to, but not just because he has a bigger head than I do either. Although I gotta take that as a positive nowadays because
Yeah.
it's rare that I find somebody that even wears the same size hat. So
Big brain,
um,
man. That's what you gotta tell him.
yes,
Out here flexing
yeah,
that big
yeah,
brain, baby.
something like that. But
Speaking of, I need to have Keith on and me and him talk about fucking fitted hats for an hour.
yeah, man, honestly, the three of us should hop on and do a conversation about that. I feel like we could do that almost
Yeah,
as a
easy.
regular show.
Seriously.
There's so much coming out now. There's so much. I mean, people are just doing a lot of cool shit in that space too.
Yeah.
Where, and you've been around for it long enough. Where, there was that bubble up in like 2002, 2003, where everybody was buying something to match their throwback jersey or whatnot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. The quality was not the
No.
same, except for maybe a few like very specific brands that got serious about it. Actually, hold on one sec. I got something to
No
show
problem. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What are you gonna pull out? A golden crown?
you. This might be a little bit dusty, but this company back in the day called Hella Tight Fitteds,
Oh my fucking god.
they did like satin lined. Yeah.
Shut the fuck. That
So
is so
yeah, this is the
sick.
Mac Dre limited that they did.
Oh man, speaking of, we got Mac Dre behind me too. Shout out to the Mac.
I figure I better say it. Yeah.
That's hella dope. Oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Fitteds have kind of like they fell off and then they came back, 5-10 years later or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's good the more people get into it because the more creative people get. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, you might not be able to buy as much or get the ones that you want, but there's probably been 50 Giants hats that I've wanted this year. I don't need 50 Giants hats in a year.
Exactly.
I want them all.
Exactly. You got a
If I
higher
can get
chance
a
of getting
few,
the
I'll
hat than you do getting the Jordan ones. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
Yep.
So yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean that. Yeah, I mean we could talk about that because there's like I said, a higher chance of actually copping the hat. We talk
Yeah.
about the shoes. It says, oh yeah, they look nice. I know a guy who knew a guy who know a guy who got the pair, but like
Yep.
you got the server. Like I bet was probably like 4 or 5 people on the server who copped.
Yeah, maybe.
Everybody else
Yeah.
is just L's.
This is definitely a low one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that actually helps me in not feeling bad about getting stuff too, because I go on there
Yeah.
and I see a few other people get it. I'm like, oh, cool.
yeah,
I'm happy for them. I don't need to spend the money anyway. I could spend my money on something more important.
exactly. Yeah, I tried to get them for my daughter. She wanted them, but L. So
Yeah.
try again next time.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm not one of those people that pays resale for almost anything. Like
Yeah,
I've maybe paid 2 or 3 times in like 20 years of buying these shoes. So
Whenever I do, I'm trying to get them early. Like I have to have a reason more than just getting the shoe.
yeah.
Like I'll pay more to have them before everybody else, maybe, but to have them after everybody else, I want the price to go damn near down to retail.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Which
Definitely.
I haven't even checked StockX to see what the hell these are going for, but I imagine they're sky high.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter like people asking like 500 for them already. So I can't imagine that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's the bubbles at the top right now, so it'll probably come down in a few weeks. But
yeah, definitely. But I just think about
Never mind.
like I love Jordan 1s, I love Jordan 3s. We kind of all grew up into sneakers because of Jordan in some way, shape, or form. And then somebody else came along and then made us see different things. But $500, man, I'm buying like 4 pairs of shoes for $500, or
yeah,
8 pairs of shoes and getting them off the clearance rack. Like
there you go.
there's too many good shoes out there right now to be spending $500 on one pair of shoes, unless it's really, really special to you. But I think,
Exactly. Special to you. You got to be like this. I got this because of this reason.
Yeah.
and that's few and far between.
Yeah. And I think that's like the interesting thing about the Discord that, I just really appreciate seeing people. Everybody's got a little bit of excitement for their own lane, kind of, like,
Yeah,
yeah, there's crossover and we might like some shoes and we might want a shoe, but you get to see people posting stuff that it's like, you know, you could tell they're just really into that shoe. And that's the most important part for me, right? Like I mean, the perfect example is me being a Giants fan. All the shoes that I wore during the playoffs and the World Series runs are beat to hell, still have shit spilled all over them. I don't plan on cleaning them. I don't need to clean them, but I
yeah,
feel so much joy in wearing those shoes, even if they're just, like I have a pair of, like a black and orange pair of Mission Blazers. I have like orange and white Nike Dunks. I have like another pair of Mission Blazer of Lance Mountain Blazers. All those were shoes that I wore either to a game or, like during that time I was close by, so I was, if I wasn't at the game, I was outside the park for almost everything, right?
yeah.
And that's what it's all about to me. Like I'd rather wear those, have them be all dirty, and then be able to talk about that story and get that
Exactly.
emotion going, than to just be like, yo, I hit on sneakers and now I got to go on to the next thing. I feel like sneakers has just become like Vegas, man. It's like, cool, I didn't hit, I got to just keep playing. I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna hit soon. I'm gonna hit soon. Next thing you know, you're like, trying to scrounge up money to get a flight home.
Seriously. And speaking of Vegas, I wanted to ask you. This is a little farther down my list, but perfect transition. How do you feel about the NFT crypto craze that's going on right now? Are you you got a portfolio with some cryptos and some NFTs?
So I have a couple of NFTs and I've got a little bit of crypto. I think I'm in a different space with it compared to a lot of people, because if you look at the way the internet has evolved, right? Us being close in the Bay and having, like, I mean, you remember like the original .com burst before the year 2000 and all that stuff that happened, right? And then you have like kind of the okay, we're going to actually use the internet to pay for things and buy things, and then new stuff started, and then you got all these big companies that made a bunch of money. So if that's, as people call it, like Web 1 is like just kind of figuring out the internet, Web Van and all these like startups that crashed and died under a bubble. Then the second generation of the internet being like Facebook, Google, Instagram coming along and saying, okay, all you people, you start creating content, we'll make the money off of it.
Yeah,
And then Web3 being like, NFTs and crypto. And like, there's a lot of things about it that are still kind of absolutely unknown to everything and everyone. That's why I kind of like it in a sense.
yeah,
But for me, as someone who for the last 15 years or so has made a living creating content for other big companies and moving from company to company, and I've written probably thousands of pieces of thousands of articles about sneakers, about business, streetwear, all the stuff, right? Every place I've written for since I first got paid to write for somebody in 2006 or 2007 has somehow, intentionally or not, removed my name from the things that I wrote.
yeah,
So most of the time, to be completely fair, I've worked for a long list of really cool companies, and I've contributed to a lot of cool things, and I'm really lucky to have kind of, I feel like I hit the lottery stepping into that space at the right time. But most of the time those companies didn't intentionally take my name off of it, but the people that actually cared about me within those companies are no longer around, or somebody else came in and said, okay, we're going to switch from this content management system to this one, or this service provider to this one, and the names didn't align when they changed the database and blah blah blah. So like if you look up my name and what I've written about, there's probably, you probably come across a lot of my own stuff on my own sites, whether that's sneaker history or my own personal site or whatever. But most of the stuff that I wrote for all these other platforms like Nice Kicks and Finish Line and Soul Collector and Eastbay and all these places, my name isn't on there anymore. And that part is the one thing that makes me optimistic about crypto and NFTs and the blockchain and what that could represent, right? I don't think that that's going to be the first thing that's solved, because we're already in this place where people think that content should be free, and people think that, people should, can just hire some copywriter from, a foreign country, that they don't have to pay that much, and it will be as quality as work as what you could get from somebody who has the experience. But if all of this that's being worked out right now for this new, kind of Web3 situation with the blockchain, if all of that was worked out when I started my career, at least I would be attributed to all of the work that I did.
Yeah.
Where, and this is not taking shots at anybody, but like, let's say I wrote for, Forbes.com 10 years ago, and it was a, really successful piece, and people still reference it now. If you were to go back to that piece, the name would probably just say written by Forbes, or it wouldn't have an author on it at all, because of the way that it was built out. Now, in today's world, if people start going this direction for, kind of user generated content, and we move towards this, then no matter what, at least my name is attached to it. So I can say, yeah, I did this back then. Like, I don't necessarily think I need to be getting royalties off of something that I wrote back then, because I just, like, I was learning anyway,
Yeah,
but
well,
like,
why not? If you were
but
an
like,
actor
yeah,
in a
I think
TV
of like,
show, even if you were in the background,
exactly. Yeah. I think about
still
like
getting 17
artists
cents,
and musicians and stuff, right? Like, those are things that, as much as I'm also skeptical, and I think that, it's just like anything, right? When there's a new hustle out there, the biggest hustlers are first to the game. It's no different than being in Vegas on the streets, right? We've all
Exactly.
seen those dudes with the cups, and the homie
Yep.
comes up and says, yeah, you can't do that. Next thing you know, this like poor little soul from, some places never seen it, just lost $5,000 she was planning on gambling, at Caesars or something. And that's right now, right? Like, this is like fresh out of the casinos, at 2 a.m. type of mentality within the crypto space. So I'm cautious about it, but I'm super optimistic about it, in a way that, like, if people could get credit for the things that they've done, the way that, instead of having Facebook and all these people make a ton of money off of it, and we have all these crazy billionaires based off of other people's creations, right? Like, you look at any platform, all the way from, Twitter, 140 characters, all the way up to YouTube and Netflix documentaries and all that stuff. It's rare that the people that create the content actually, get the bulk of the income from it, because most of the time you need the funding from some big company, and that's always going to be a give and take. But I think, at least with the blockchain and what's possible from it, I think, if I had to lean towards the change, I'd rather see this change happen than not, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. I like how you put that. I never even thought about it in that way. How you're saying, like, you wrote stuff, and you know, intentional or unintentional. Sometimes it just gets kind of wiped away or erased or
Yeah.
edited, and not in your favor. Like the NFT stuff, I'm at first I was like, this is ridiculous. I remember hearing about the NBA with I can't remember.
Oh yeah, the Top Shot stuff.
The Top Shot, and I was like,
Yeah.
Okay, so if I buy LeBron James assist from 4 years ago, like how am I gonna make money off that? And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, I'll just put a pin in that, and I'll come back to it. Then you start seeing, other stuff. I'm like, okay, it's not just a digital basketball card or play.
Yep.
It's growing and expanding. So I'm still scratching the surface, trying to see what's up with it. I don't have any NFTs. I do got some crypto. I came in a little late on the crypto. So I wish I would have jumped on it 10 years ago when everybody was talking about it.
Yeah,
I could
me
have put
too, man.
$40 on it and be fucking rich.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that's really interesting about it, and I'll kind of present this idea to you, because you know exactly how it would work with Patreon, right? With Sneaker History, we have, let's say we have 40 or so patrons that pay, whatever that is, a month or a year, right? So every time, you know, every time I inch my way up a couple more patrons and make, another 10 or 20 bucks a month, I buy some service, right? Whether it's a recording service or a microphone or some, I'm improving what I do with all of that money, because we don't really make any money off of the show. We don't have sponsors yet. Like, like that, right?
Yeah.
We've had some trial runs and had little successes here and there, but generally, like, I haven't been focused on it because I want to make sure that the views go up and the listens go up and the people that are really supporting us, appreciate what we're putting out. And it's been really tough. We're almost 3 years in with it, and to be doing podcasts one, two, three times a week, sometimes four times a week, is it's a lot of work, and it's
Yeah.
been exhausting for us. Which is why currently we took a little break for the first time, but thinking of that Patreon situation, right? Let's say I have 40 people in the Patreon, and I make $400 a month. Well, I've got you know, podcast hosting, video hosting, Patreon fees, like uh, the recording platforms hosting. So I spend $390 a month on all this other stuff, you know, and then I've got to figure out, like, okay, what happens when one of those people leaves? And now I drop down to 39 or 38. Okay, now I need to make sure that I'm going to make sure that I'm spending my own money to do it. But if instead of someone signing up for Patreon for 1 year, let's say they give you $10 a month and you give them a $20 discount. So it's $100 a year, just to make it a super easy number, right? If I were to sell one NFT for $100 to a person, at the end of that year, they could either continue to be a patron or they could sell that and get their money back. And it would instantly create a new patron for me, as opposed to just someone from using Patreon saying, "Cool, I did my year, and I don't want to do it anymore," and I lose that income. So I haven't figured that part out yet, but I think that it could replace and become a utility for a lot of these small businesses and groups, because the other stuff that we do and the other stuff that I want to do is having these sneaker combos events in person and meetups and all these different things. And if you had, once you get to a certain size, if you had that as an NFT, a token of some sort, where you just like use that to scan in to an event, say that's part of your patronage benefits, right? Oh, we're going to do one or two events a year, hopefully in your area. And, if you have one of these, if you have Patreon, you get in, but the same thing with like an NFT, right? And then it becomes something that there's even more like access to, what people are creating and doing, and all this, just like different things that you could use it for. Almost like, it's just almost like having I mean, old school wise, it's almost like being a part of Michael Jordan's Flight Club off the Wheaties box, right? It's like, what do you get from that? I don't know, but I feel special because I'm a part of something like that. And if they send me a poster or, a limited edition Wheaties box, like, that just becomes a really cool thing. And I think that's where there's a lot of people trying to figure out what's going
Yeah.
on. But for me, it's pretty obvious that it's all about what can be done after the fact, right? Because this just gives me the opportunity to, if I were to sell an NFT, give it to people, give other NFTs, other content, other access to events, all this other stuff could be just connected to that one purchase, because now I have a direct relationship with that person that made the purchase. And I think the more you do of that, the more you would build value for it. So I think it could be something that's really interesting. I mean, I'm not like artistically talented, like I'm not going to be drawing. Although, shout out to you for sending me the Patreon stuff, because like I wish I could do that stuff. But like, I think that stuff would be super dope as an NFT for those that want to be a part of that, new experience. And next thing you know, it's like, okay, cool. You don't even have to know where it's going, but like, yo, I fuck with Dexter. This is why I'm here. And I think that's the high side of NFTs, when you've got the hustlers outside, like the people that are able to figure that out and connect with the people that really love what they're doing, whether that's art or music or, whatever it is. It's a really interesting kind of place right now. And, I say that like super optimistic. I'm always
Yeah.
optimistic, you know, generally speaking, since, 2020 and 2021 have been a little rough, but like, I do think that there's a lot of things that could come from that. And, in ways that we probably can't even really wrap our head around right now.
Yeah. Listening to you talk about it, it's reminded me of like when social media first came in. Like you had like it was like forums and chat rooms, and that was like the beginning, right? And when you're young, it like it's cool interacting with people, but older people are like, oh, what the hell is this? Like, this is a gimmick, right?
Yep.
And then stuff like Twitter comes in and LinkedIn comes in, where older people are like, oh, well, I'm networking. It's not just So it's somebody's going to do something with this NFT stuff that's going to make like it click, and then people are gonna be like, "Oh shit!" Whoever hits that first is gonna be like, the Jeff Bezos of damn world. But I just, I just can't put like something tangible to it yet.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not going anywhere. It's so you got to either get on the train or you're gonna get left.
And I think it's almost too broad, right? It's like what can be done with an NFT? It's literally like it's like having an internet with a permanent accountant that tracks everything attached to it. So like we can't even imagine, like, Twitter is a great example. When I first got on Twitter, I mean, I remember people making fun of me for posting my sneakers with like hashtag today's kicks. And, I'm a coffee drinker. Like I would be posting up like every morning, like, was the coffee crew or whatever it was, hashtag coffee crew every morning. And it was like, I met like, dozens of people through doing that, what was corny to a lot of people at that time. But there's a lot of people that are still in my life and friends today from me doing that. And I think that's just the thing. Once you find it, and once the people find what they're into and how they can do it, there's a lot of interesting things about the way crypto and our energy system could actually benefit each other. And I think that's going to be the thing that like kind of flips a lot of people onto crypto and the blockchain, because right now, like, our system is super archaic. You can imagine, every system that we use. I mean, shit, in California we get a perfect example of it every fire season. It's like, okay, guess what? PG&E failed and we just lost 10 million acres of forest.
Yeah.
Like it happens every year now, like 5-6 times. It's like, oh, guess what? I mean, yeah, there's some assholes out there starting fires, but like it's literally PG&E 70-80% of the time, because they just haven't fixed the shit. And and I have no idea what the work that would need to go into to upgrade something like that, but we're talking something that was probably built 100 years ago or something.
Exactly.
And so like the flip of that is that systems can go, like the current system, you can't drop, you can't just manufacture power all the time, right? With like winds, whatever type of energy you want to use. But yet we have to like kind of hit the brakes and let the energy be stored places, but we're not good at that, and we haven't figured that out in a safe way in most cases. So now there's an opportunity that like those places that normally couldn't be used for wind might be able to be used to farm crypto in some aspect, right? So now you're talking about distributing wealth in a way that like I can't even comprehend, there's just so many things. And I think, yeah, there's going to be scams, and there are for sure plenty of people out there scamming, but the more I learn about it, the more I'm just like, man, we should have done most of this shit years ago, like we should have just, yeah, I don't know. I'm super optimistic about it. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but like it's one of those things where it's hard for me to not get excited about all those little things, because partially because I just like to learn about things I don't know shit about. Yeah. So I'll dive into this like on a weekly basis and still feel like, okay, like I am one millionth of the way through actually understanding all the potential possibilities.
You gotta
and
just chip away.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So,
but you mentioned that you're an optimistic guy. Yes, you are very, very positive. Now I want to move into something where I try to be positive myself, but certain things I just can't help myself. You have the Giants hat on. Do you hate the Dodgers as much as I do? I see the color blue and that white logo, and I swear I want to just rip somebody's head off.
Oh man. So that's a tough one, because blue is one of my favorite colors, and
I, mean, I
part of the
got the
problem,
blue on, but
right?
there's a certain
Yeah,
blue that you
true,
can see
true.
it from a mile away and you know.
So let me give you a little background on my family. My grandparents, when the Giants came, so my grandparents basically, um, when the Giants first moved to San Francisco, started to go to games first year, and up until 2009, they went to at least one game every year, no matter what.
Did they ever go to Seal Stadium?
Yep,
Oh
yep.
shit, that's
They
that's
they
yeah.
they
They
were
real,
around
they
for
OG
all of
for
it.
real.
Yeah, my dad, my dad and my two uncles, got to go when they were kids, and we didn't have money, but like that was like the one thing, like my family. It's kind of weird now that I think about it, because like my family never went on vacations at all. Like I moved a ton, but like we never actually like went and did things. It was always like, well, if we could if we could figure out a way for work to pay for part of it, or make some money there, or families paying for something, or friends have a place for us to stay. But going to those games became such a thing that when my parents got divorced and I moved away with my mom and stepdad, I'd come back for the summer and we'd go to a game. But um 2009 was kind of like my grandparents were there at the game for the in the 89 earthquake.
Oh
So like
wow,
my grandma has like concrete from section 54 up in the, old Candlestick out in the
damn.
outfield. And like I don't know if you had been to Candlestick, but like,
Oh yeah,
Candlestick is rough anyway, right? But like out in section 53 to 54, there's like a like 6 to 8 inch gap between the rails because it shifted that much. So you could
damn.
actually go and see it. And like most people would never know that because you're not going to just walk around the entire stadium. But that's where they were sitting, and my grandma actually got concrete, like she has concrete from the stadium. And it was also the scariest day of my life because I was living in Oregon at the time, and the game wasn't on, and there was nothing saying what was going on. And like I'm calling my dad, and my dad, like, there's no cell phones back then, so my dad's at
Yeah,
home trying to figure out where my grandparents are. Thankfully, like they, being from Sacramento, thankfully they took, the Golden Gate home and went, quote, the long way, because had they gone the other way, they might have been one of those people, either driving off the bridge or stuck on the bridge, and it was just one of those crazy moments. But for me, like, I say all that to say my grandma and grandpa going to those games. The first time I saw my grandpa cry was when the Giants won the series in 2010. Like it was like I'm getting like chills thinking about it. But
yeah.
my grandma used to wear an "I hate the Dodgers" visor all the time. All the time. Like, I mean, I'm
I
talking
love
like
it.
from like as long as I can remember. So like 4 or 5 years old, she always had an "I hate the Dodgers" visor, especially when we're at games or if we were like doing something with the family at the park or something. Um, but I think the thing I would say yes, but I also like I wouldn't want to be a Giants fan without the Dodger fans to like go back and forth with and hate on, right? Like I love them hating us just as much as I love hating them, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like it's just one of those things where like to me it's the best rivalry in all of sports. I don't think there's anything that compares to it. Like, there are lots of other rivalries that are out there, but for me, having the personal connection to it, knowing that it started in New York and then came here,
yeah,
like it just goes so far back. And I think you have, generations of people that have been raised up to be like, I hate the Dodgers or I hate the Giants. And that's just so awesome to me. And to be a
yeah,
part of that and feel connected to it when I go to the games and to be able to like, you know, assuming like we can all handle our liquor and not get too out of hand, right? Like things usually go pretty smoothly at games. Once in a while things get a little rowdy, but that part is fun too. So
yeah. I mean, you're nicer than I am. I can't. I can't. I, I'm like your grandma in the hat, but like literal. I'm not gonna go literally kill a Dodger, but I'm thinking about it. I swear. I don't. I like football. I can have the rivalry. It's like, oh yeah, hey, good game. Ah man, I don't know what it is about the. I think it's when what was the guy's name who got assaulted and shit?
oh
Snow
yeah,
something.
yeah,
I
Brian
can't.
something.
Brian Snow or Stowe.
Yeah, Stowe. Yeah, yeah, yep.
I almost said Eric Snow, but that's Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, when that happened, that's kind of like took it to another level because it was
Yeah,
like they tried to kill that guy, you know,
yep,
and he didn't do shit. He
yep.
was just walking out of Dodger Stadium, and there are Dodgers fans who aren't horrible people, but there are some fucked up Dodgers fans. So like, it's just I don't know. I try to be positive, but when it comes to them, I don't know. They set off something in me. Like I
I
don't
feel
care
you,
what
man.
type of Buddhism I'm going through. It's just like something. But have you been watching much of the Kings this year?
Yeah. I mean, I watch probably half the games.
Okay, so yeah, same with me.
Yeah,
How are you feeling about that? They're playing a little better this year. I mean, I'm not this year, but this last couple games. But you
yeah.
think they need to blow it up, or are you holding on for some faith here?
Man, I've been hoping the Kings blow it up since like 2002 or 2003, and like some of my friends will like like my optimism goes out the window as a Kings fan. Like I feel like as much as I hated the way the Maloofs treated Sacramento, they at least made the team fun to watch and got people excited about the team. And that whole transition, the possibility of losing the team, all of this stuff has just been like, it's like, look, I, I don't know like how many people have been to a Kings game, but even though Sacramento is a small, relatively small city and, the Cowtown vibes and all that stuff, I would argue that Kings fans are just as crazy as Giants fans. Like
Yeah,
Kings fans are die hard.
yeah,
And unfortunately, I think a lot of them are just too sympathetic towards all the shitty things that happen. We've struggled so long, and for
yeah.
me, I'm just like, yeah, like blow it up. Like I'm ready. I mean, look, I love De'Aaron Fox. I love Tyrese Halliburton. I think once guys like when Buddy Hield starts talking about I need to go and all this stuff, you know, I'm not a Harrison Barnes fan, although he's like become like a backbone of the team. I
Yeah, he's
just
he's with them clutch threes, man.
yeah, like and like I don't need to have everybody on the team players that I like. That's definitely never been the case with the Giants. But I
Yeah,
think
Aubrey Huff.
exactly that's what I was thinking. Yep. But yeah, I think that's the hardest part is like never feeling like we're actually taking the initiative to get to a winning team, right? Like we've got a lot of young talent, and I actually like Luke Walton as a coach more than probably anybody that they've had since
Yeah, I like
forever
PJ.
ago. But
He was in a bad situation though.
yeah, but like how do you expect to win with all that stuff going on? And I just think I'm one of those people that thinks that just cut ties if things are bad. Like there's no point in waiting around for worse things to happen if you're already in an unhappy situation for either side, whether you're talking about a relationship or somebody on your team. Once people start talking about not wanting to play for the Kings, you know just figure out a way to let them go. It doesn't make sense because you're never going to get what you should out of them as a athlete or
Yeah,
performer or whatever you want to say about it. But it also wears off on other players. Like everybody has their ups and downs, but hanging out with people that don't want to be around everybody. I think everybody's been in one of those situations where you work in a job and you hang around with somebody who doesn't like it there long enough, and next thing you know, you're questioning if you should be sticking around, even though you never thought about it until that person came along. And sometimes it's for the best, but sometimes you're in a good spot and you might walk away from something that's good for you, or putting you in a place to move forward in another way in life. And I think that part about the Kings has always been frustrating to me, is like we just never it never feels like we're fully committed to it, right? Like
yeah,
I also totally understand it's tough to get big time players to come to Sacramento, especially in the midst of the pandemic and all this other drama that we've had over the past few years, waiting for a new stadium. And, I mean, I don't know like how many people realize like I actually live near like the old Arco both the old Arco arenas out here in Sacramento. The first Arco arena I went to, like, I'm 42 going on 43, so I went as a kid, like I wanted to be Reggie Theus for Halloween,
Oh
like
man.
those are kind of like the memories for me. But when you drive past that stadium, it's literally like a 2-story like government, like
It's like
state
Office
building,
Space or something now.
Yeah, it's office space. It's
Yeah.
tiny. And then you see like the old Arco Arena, Sleep Train, whatever it's called, and it's massive, but it's sitting there empty. And it's like that stadium was like game changing in the whatever it was 2000 or whatever they built it, or not, I guess late 90s. But I think it was like 2007. The NCAA basically said you got to update the facilities, or we're not even going to bring the tournament to town.
Which is
And
crazy. That's college, and they don't even want to be there.
and at that point, like Sacramento should have just been like, oh fuck. Not, like Oakland's been going through this for years with the A's,
Yeah.
right? And with the Warriors. Like, don't let that money go away. Don't let that, it's not even the money. Fuck the money. Don't let the energy of a team leave your town.
Yeah.
If I was a government person of any kind or involved in politics at all, like sports is the one thing that even in the shittiest times can give people some hope in dimmest places. And if you can't figure it out, like, look, buy some Bitcoin. I don't know, like do something to get some, like all these
Full
people want to
circle.
put their name on these stadiums. You could probably have Bitcoin Arena if you wanted to. Somebody's willing to pay for that shit. So yeah, man, I don't know.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of time left. All right, I'm gonna get you with some quick hits here. Let's do some rapid fire responses. Okay, what is your first sneaker true love? The shoe that you just literally heart melted over when you saw it.
Oh man, military blue fours, and
Hey, all right.
the originals, because I wanted to wear a shoe that I wasn't getting real shoes back then, right? So like it was like we went to the mall and I saw them and I was like blown away because I'd never seen any blue Jordans before. Like I might have seen the True Blue threes originally, but like in an East Bay catalog or something. But seeing that pair in the mall, like I could still picture it. I can still remember like pulling it off and just thinking, holy shit, one day I'm gonna get these. So I mean, yeah, long time ago, but that was a game changer for me because everybody wore Bulls colors, like nothing against it, but
Yeah,
I just wanted.
yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, fuck, like this is different.
That's me with the black and blue penny twos.
Oh yeah,
Literally
yeah.
just was like, oh man, I wanted to be Little Penny. Okay, favorite ice cream flavor.
Ooh, that's tough, man.
There's a lot of flavors out there. Baskin Robbins fucked the game up.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I probably go like Cherry Garcia, so I can get a little fruit and a little
Oh,
chocolate.
okay, that's what I'm talking about. We got Jerry Garcia back here. Can't even really tell or whatever. It's Jerry, believe me. Favorite movie.
Ooh. Can I give you like a couple of variations to that
Yeah.
answer? So if I'm going like old school, I really like uh some of the old like James Dean movies, like Rebel Without a Cause, that kind of stuff. Um,
Oops.
but that era, I think the one movie that's like, if I would just choose one movie from it, Citizen Kane, like was a
I watched that
really
for the
really
first time during the pandemic. I was like, everybody's been talking about this movie for 100 years. Let me finally check it out. It's really good.
it's just wild to think how somebody thought through filming that movie the way they did. 60, I mean, hell, the cameras had to be like tanks back then, so you filming
Seriously.
that must have been like what. um and I think like, if I'm going like recent or more recent, I mean, it's tough not to just throw out a Star Wars or one of the Marvel films because I love
There
all
we go.
those.
There we
But
go. Okay.
I think the one that just popped into my head, I Am Legend, man.
Oh wow,
Will
I forgot
Smith.
about that movie. Yeah. Speaking
That
of, I
movie
got my
kind
German Shepherd right here. You ready for the apocalypse, huh?
Yeah, that movie kind of messed with my head, man. I was like, man, I gotta get out here and start doing things because it's
You
like,
never know.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so speaking of superheroes, who's your favorite superhero?
I probably got to go Batman. Which,
Batman. That's
yeah,
what my homie said the other day. Is it because he's rich?
no, just cause he's undercover, low key. You
Yeah.
know, I don't care about being Bruce Wayne, but I
Yeah,
don't necessarily
Batman.
want to be. I feel like all the other superheroes kind of like out there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's down to earth, that's for damn sure. Favorite athlete
Oof.
ever?
Ever. Uh, I mean,
All right, go.
it's probably Willie Mays if it's ever. If we're talking uh, more recent, it's gonna be probably Allen Iverson. Uh,
I was waiting for that. I knew Iverson was going to get his ass in here somehow.
yeah, I related to that like fuck you mentality that he had, and just like yo, this is me regardless of the goods and bads,
Yeah,
and
take it or
um,
leave it.
the kind of vulnerability. Like people see him and they think like he was a badass or something, but like for me, it was like you know this is a guy who's crying about his mom on national TV, and the relationship struggles he's had with his wife and all these things, and his kids, and to me that was it. But like at the same time, like I think the one thing that I was related to is like just being like an underdog, right? Like nobody expected him to do anything, yet
Yeah,
here he is with iconic moments crossing over Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever, or take your pick. He probably did it to Kobe, and would have
yeah.
done it to LeBron if he was around long enough, like
And plenty of high school and college players who
yeah.
just
And I
had no
think like
chance.
just yeah, being able to think about like, you know, I don't think like I'm you know the best in the world with any of my talents, but give me a few good days and I can hang with anybody on any level. And that's his mentality, and that's how I
Yeah,
felt. So I really related to that.
for sure. Ramen or pho?
Oh, I gotta go ramen.
Okay, I'm a ramen guy either. This is going to be a stupid one, but Tupac or Biggie?
Oh, yeah. Tupac is like uh I would say probably the closest thing I had to, like I have a relationship with my dad, a good relationship now. Um, and I have a stepdad who was always, around and part of my life in some aspect. But I think Tupac was the first person that I looked up to in like a big brother, fatherly figure kind of way. And again, like same reason why I love Allen Iverson. Like Tupac was, yeah, he was gonna be partying in the club. He'd be your homie. You're gonna go to prison with, but also you're gonna have the time of your life. You're gonna change the world for the better. You're gonna talk about women not being treated respectfully. You're gonna talk about your mom. You're gonna write poetry. Like I mean, I was writing poetry when I first discovered Tupac, and that was like forever life changing for me because at that time, and still think to this day, like as a guy, you're kind of like forced into being macho and being, you know, this like you're almost like predefined as to what people expect from you, I guess, no matter what, right? Because it's like, oh, you're a dude, like that's what you do. And as somebody who really enjoyed writing and got into like creative writing, poetry, stories, all that kind of stuff, really like probably eighth, seventh, eighth, ninth grade, like pretty seriously. Um, it was the first time I was like, whoa, this dude is like not just like fucking badass. He's like also like talking about, his poetry is incredible. Like you
Yeah,
see some of that old stuff and you're just like, man, I just wish he would have been able to, you know, be around for another 25 years and make,
seriously, he
so
would have
much more of an
changed a
impact.
whole lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
the game would be a whole different situation. All right, I got a couple more here.
All right.
So we're talking, if we're talking chicken wings, you like flats or drums?
Probably drums.
Okay, so me and you could eat chicken wings together because I'm a flats guy.
I'm 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 a I'm a I'm I'm a this is going to make me sound bad, and hopefully I don't lose everyone's respect for this, but I just got to be honest. I am absolutely like a boneless guy over bones.
Okay, no. That's not bad. That's not bad. I
So
mean,
yeah,
boneless wings. What about tenders?
yeah, I fuck with tenders.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if you're eating steak, how you like it cooked?
medium rare.
My man's. Okay. Last one here. This is going to be not necessarily a quick one, but how do you feel about the Mandela effect? I was thinking about this other day. I remember going to Lucky's as a kid, apostrophe S. And then it went to Albertsons, and when they brought it back, they took the apostrophe S, but they said, oh, it never existed. I was like, no, I remember.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty weak, man. There was something else that I just had that same kind of thought around where something changed. Man, I mean, I think yeah, I can't think of what it was. It was
But do
something
you
like
think
that
there's
though.
something to
It's-
this? Do you think that it's everybody just misremembering, or do you think something happened? Something's going on.
No, I don't know that something's going on. I think it's like, I guess I'll go back to my experience with like writing, right? I don't think that intentionally somebody went and like took my name off of a bunch of stuff that I wrote over the years, right? But I think a lot of times what happens is like the people, like the messages just aren't passed along properly from, whether that's generation to generation or, you know, coworker to coworker or friend to friend. I think we just miss so much in communication that like just dumb shit happens all the time because of it, and I think you can, I mean, we don't get full into it, but like you could look at fucking racism in America, right? The stories are still trying to be convoluted. Like we already know it's been fucked up. Let's just keep saying it's been fucked up so we don't have to be like let's
Yeah.
like acknowledge it. That's the only way we're going to get past this stuff in any way, and it's still going to take hundreds of years. But if everyone is like nah, like then I just think fuck all you, like let's just go start something without that type of person. But yeah, that's a little aggressive, I know.
No. I like it. We just talked about Tupac. Come on. It's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
Maybe
So
it might have been Thrifties. You remember Thrifties ice cream?
yes.
I realized there was a Thrifties ice cream up here in one of the CVS's or no, in the Rite Aid up here. And I hadn't seen Thrifty in a long time. And I think the apostrophe, I'm gonna have to go back and ask my girlfriend
Oh,
because
no.
I'm pretty sure
I
that's
remember
what it was.
Thrifties.
Yeah, Thrifties.
If it says thrifty,
Yes.
you know something's up, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, yeah.
They gotta have the apostrophe S. All right. Well, we can put a bow into this. I appreciate you coming on, sir. I know you got stuff to do. You got to hit
course,
the
man.
road. Let's do it again, man. Have me on yours.
Yeah, let's do it,
I
man.
want to holler at Mike, man. Let's slide me in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we'll definitely get it done in the next, like couple months or something. I don't know what
Let's do it.
we're planning on as far as bringing back the podcast in the new year, but I think we probably got a couple more weeks of break, and then for sure, I want to. I mean, this is my goal with the community is to just lift everybody up and say like, look, why can't we just all share this audience that we've been able to get? I think
Yeah.
there's people. I'm serious. Like, we gotta do a fitted. Like, we could do a fitted podcast every week or two, even if you guys want to. I'm totally down to do something like that
Man,
because
you had me at hello.
there's enough people in the Discord that we could even swap. Like have people hop on and talk, and
Seriously.
I think it just
I got 'em.
just keep going.
right behind me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For real.
But
Hell yeah. Well, go ahead and I'm gonna let you have the floor, and you can pump your whatever you want to pump and do your shouts out right there. Oh, what? Hold on. Oh, nope. There we go.
Yeah, just follow at Sneaker History on all the platforms. That's the community, the site, Discord community. You can find me personally at Nick Engvall, but I really don't post much on my accounts. I just other than Twitter, I'm pretty active on Twitter, but I also post some bullshit on there too. So just you got to be prepared to filter it for yourself.
It'd be like that. All right, for sure. Hell yeah. Well, like I said, everybody check out Sneaker History Podcast. I mean, he said they're on break right now, so that's plenty of time for you to catch up. Go back and back and back. There's really good episodes in there, even though, technical difficulties happen, but still quality content. Shout out to everybody. What we got? Rohit, Mike, and Robbie, for sure. The guys. Very dope, very informative, very funny podcast. And this has been the Industry Special Volume 42. Follow, subscribe on all the social media platforms. They're all right up here. There we go. I haven't posted anything on TikTok, but just follow it anyway. And patreon.com/industry special. If you'd like to support anything, help, might need a new camera, might need a new light, you know what I'm saying? If you like the content, hook a brother up. Appreciate you, Nick.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
Peace.